All right, here's a side job I've been doing on the weekends, and I did all the soffit fascia already, and I'm working on the siding. Got some siding done over here. Did this last weekend, so it's looking pretty. All right, I'm gonna bring in on the process of how to install vinyl siding from start to finish best I can with what's already been done. Today, the first thing that I'm working on is up here on this dormer. I want to go ahead and get this knocked out. So I got to put a little strip of metal where the soffit meets at a 45, and then I'm going to put my outside corners on, put J-channel around, and then put the siding on. So let's go. Get into fascia, that's a whole nother thing, but I do like a 2x4 right here for my soffit to hit nice. And now we're gonna put this strip of metal right here. So let's get that cut and fit in there. This piece of metal is just like a 2 to 3 inch wide strip of metal with a hem on either side. And then I put a bend down the center, just a small bend for more rigidity. And so yeah, I just made this morning. And I am gonna put a little caulking behind it just to keep it in place. Until I get my outside corner on. Once the outside corner is on, it's not going anywhere. So that's there like that. There we go. All right, just like that. Boom. Okay, let's get some measurements for this outside corner. Let's go 37.5 to the outside. This is an 8/12 pitch, so I'll cut it straight here. 8/12 pitch on the other side and see how it turns out. All right, so 37.5. That's gonna be to my face down at the bottom. Make that mark, carry it through, and then we need an 8/12. Pivot your square at the corner. Line that up with 8 on the common, and that's the pitch of the roof right there. Corners suck to cut with snips. This is a kind of an all-purpose metal cutting blade, which works amazing. You don't have to worry about the carbon one breaking on you and flying at you, and this cuts through it like butter. Beautiful. Let's go try it out. GoPro stop. There's probably things I'll do different if I'm doing the same thing in 5 years, but what I'm showing you and the way I'm doing it, I feel very comfortable with now, and it's gonna look really good and not leak and all that stuff. So all right, I'm ready to put siding on this section, and what we're gonna do is you either level a piece like this. I'm just gonna push it tight to the top of my soffit, and I'm gonna put this piece on the roof and follow that line. That is gonna be my pitch. I'm ready to go cut this siding. Let me go ahead and get a measurement. About 34. This will be my pattern piece. I normally cut the bottoms and the tops off. All right, I've got some siding on this corner and I've got my angle cut, but when I set that in there, my corners aren't lining up from side to side, and I want them to look like they are lining up. Otherwise, you are a noob. Don't put vinyl siding up if the corners aren't gonna line up. Just don't do it. So instead of cutting that angle, I can cut some of the straight off. And I need a little more, about that much again. There we go, right there. All right, I'll get that measurement and I'll cut my next piece at 9 3/4. Here is my pattern with the angle. This is my 9 3/4 piece right there. And I went ahead and locked it in. That's gonna be my corner. I'm gonna line up my angle. And I've got 2 pieces cut so far then. And heck, why not? Let's go ahead and get another one. If it's too big, I can cut it down. If it's too small, I'll be pissed. So, decent odds. Let's try it. GoPro, stop recording. All right, my pieces look good, but what I want to show you, hopefully eliminate some pain and heartache. If you push it too tight into the J, you will start to get off. Make sure it's just in there, but not too tight, because if you push it all the way in, it's gonna pull it up, and then you'll start to get off level. A lot of guys mess up in this situation because they haven't done that. It's a little snug, but it's all right. Running at 7 7/8, 8. Very nice, very nice. If it was a 10-foot piece, you don't want it to be that tight. This thing is not going to grow more than 1/8 of an inch, so ain't worried about it being nice and snug. Trim off just a little bit to make it easier to get in there. not siding snips. Okay, so when I put this piece in, it's not gonna, I'm not gonna be able to nail the top. So I've got to put some caulking in. Jeez. There we go. Okay. Nice and tight and straight, but we're gonna have to let the caulking hold that piece in. If I had my... Okay, now look how nice these corners land out. If those were off, it just looks really unprofessional, like you don't know what you're doing. Now that we're up here at the top, if I just stick this piece in, there's nothing to really keep it tight against the J. So take a cutoff of your piece. And essentially, we're gonna make a spacer like that. And I actually want to trim this down a little bit more. Okay. Once that caulking dries, you will not be able to touch that. So, there we go. All right, here's what we look like when we're finished. Notice how that J channel is nice and tight. There's no gap there. Snug. Beautiful. Angle's good. Anyway, this front was a cluster.